me as I'm looking at what I'm trying to dig into. All right, guys, here we go. We're rocking and rolling. For those of you who've never jumped on a call like this before, this is Lead Gen for Listings. All around me asking top people where they find their business, how they find their business, where they got started. The coolest part about today, you have 3 unique personalities that have found their business in a different way. Here is the goal of it. It's going to be action-packed, fast-paced, quick hitters. I'm going to ask these guys questions, and we're going to move on to the next thing. If you have follow-up questions, throw it in the chat section, and I'll facilitate the conversation to keep it going. The goal of this is to be 30 to 40 minutes of fast-paced, action-packed content. Sound good? All right, here we go. So first up, Chrissy Klaske. For those of you guys who don't know Chrissy, she's out in the Lake Country marketplace. Last year, she had 19 listings, closed just under $12 million in closed production. And the coolest part about her business is she's about a 50-50 split. 50% of her business came from listings, 50% of her business came from buyers. A very, very healthy mix when most people start out usually 60-40, 60 on the buyer side. Chrissy, tell us a quick debrief background, how long you've been in the business, and then where you, as you've gotten your start and builded momentum and grown scale, where is it that you found your business?
Going in my 5th year right now, so getting a little more established. But first starting off was totally buyers. I barely had any listings because it's hard to get people to trust you. But now that as I'm getting it longer, my referrals are really starting to come in a lot more than just doing like online leads or reaching out to people. But and it's a lot of repeat business of, I mean, even buyers that I sold houses to recently, they're reselling them already. So it's been just kind of like a rolling ball effect, and a lot of social media has helped get me there as well.
Yeah, so what you guys are hearing is she had the willpower to stick it through for 5 years. And as she's stuck it through for 5 years and she's communicated and touched her database, over time, as she's developed those relationships, she's now getting the rebound sellers. And because she provided such an exemplary experience in the first round of the transaction, she is now getting the second round of the transaction, and she didn't have orphan clients. Let me ask you, Chrissy, one other thing too, as it relates to how you got your start and where you found your business. Did you find in the beginning you found a lot of your business through your database and sphere of influence, or was it more internet-based lead generation, or how'd that start? Is she frozen?
It was more I think I'm back there. Sorry. It was more internet-based where I started from. They gave you a lot of online leads, so you couldn't work your sphere as much. So now I'm kind of going backwards and not doing that as much and getting my sphere. But a lot of it was people I did not know at all, and I had to prove to them and show. And now I'm great friends with almost half of them.
Beautiful, love it. So you found that you never had a shortage of friends, and as you had clients, you added friends, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right, Lauer, flipping over to you. For you guys that don't know William Lauer has been in this business for about 4 years. William, is that right?
Yeah, July 27th is my 4-year anniversary since I got licensed.
Yeah, you want to know the coolest thing about William Lauer that I will never forget? It was Mandy Cotty's day one. Mandy hadn't done a thing yet, and William came in and said, "Hey, I got my license. I'm ready to go." I said, "Mandy, get him going." And Mandy goes, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "I don't know. Figure it out." And here he is. But that was one of the best memories I had of Mandy's first day is yours first day. So I always remember that. All right, so guys, a little perspective on William. William last year took 20 listings. And their team closed just similar to Chrissy, right around $12 million in closed production. Had a very healthy GCI growth last year, GCI north of 250, which is very, very healthy. You know, again, you can be anywhere you want to be in the next 5 years. William's a true testament to that, as well as Chrissy. William, I know you've been very intentional as we prepared for this. Tell us a little bit about where you found the 20 listings. Where did they come from? How'd you find them?
So I broke them down. About half of them came from a farm that, well, when I say came from, so this business is about networking. You'll get a lead, you'll get a deal, and that is just your next step to networking to your next deal. So for example, I had a listing that came from this original farm where I had an open house at a listing that I got from my duplex farm in Shorewood. So I picked up the buyer, help the buyer buy a house. The agent on the other side of the transaction liked the deal, she was like held up inside, not doing any business in the beginning of COVID. So she sent me some of her leads for referrals, and I helped that lead buy a house. And then I just helped that lead sell the house. So like, you could go back to like half of my listings from this last year could be traced back to that farm in some way, shape, or form. So
And
that's
help people understand
But
your farm. When you first came into this, you had very intentional focus around your farm. What was your farm?
so that's another point is I started with really not a lot of contacts in the North Shore. I had lived there for a handful of years, but I didn't have like a robust, but I decided, hey, this is where I want to do my business. So I got involved in like community organizations. So I got involved in the Kiwanis Club, and my first listing came from a fellow member of the Kiwanis Club, and it happened to be a Shorewood duplex. So I didn't pick Shorewood duplexes as like, okay, I'm going to focus on this. I just got a listing, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to list this house, and it didn't sell, which was like the biggest blessing because it was at a time where, you know, houses should be selling. So there was a lot of buyers. So I just kept on getting leads and leads and leads. So a ton of my business this year probably could be traced back to that original listing. Like,
And was it that duplex over near the Metro Market?
yeah, the triplex. So it was an illegal triplex, and so it didn't sell. But you know, I've from that very deal, I picked up several like repeat like investor clients that now I help buy like 2 or 3. Like one client, I've sold their house and helped them buy 5 houses just from a call on the sign, you know, on that house. And I was like, okay, oh, you don't have an agent? You know, would you like an agent to help you? And you know, he's like, yeah, I've kind of been doing this myself and struck out a few times. Can you help me? So, I mean, but that long story back to your point, that's how I picked up that farm is like, I found buyers for Shore duplexes, and I'm like, well, what can I do? Oh, I'll just mail out to all the owners of the Shore duplexes. Hey, I've got some buyers. Do you want to sell? And that first mailer, I got 12 owners of duplexes to contact me back, like out of like, you know, 800 that I had sent out, which is a huge turnaround. If you've ever done mailers, that's big. So that's just kind of how I grew. And then every time I took a listing, I would mail it out to the owners of the Shore duplexes so they could see that I list Shore duplexes, so that I started getting listings from that farm, which can, you know, if I trace back, half of my listings this year came originally from contacts or from that farm. So
The duplex king of Shorewood. Love it.
but it could be done with anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be duplex. It could be condos in Glendale, or it could be condos on the east side. You just have to pick something and market your listings to those specific micro market, and then they'll know, oh, this person sells, you know, this type of property in this area. So
Totally. Guys, here's what you heard. 2 things. 1, there's a silver lining in everything. William's first listing didn't sell, but what did he do? He worked his plan to go find more business, leveraging the one listing inventory that he had. The one listing inventory that he had ended up anywhere between 5 to 12 more closed units. A, B, so all listings have baby. That's the true testament. 2, silver lining and everything. Just because you win a listing and because it doesn't sell doesn't mean that you've lost an opportunity. How much more business can you develop because of the inventory that you carry? 3, William got very, very specific around his micro niche, and he started it, I think, really, quite frankly, unintentionally, around marketing to Shorewood duplexes. And all of a sudden, because he was marketing to a very specific buyer or seller pool, he started picking up that very specific buyer and seller pool, and then his business grew from there. Right? All right, Schweppes. A little bit about Brian Schweppe. Schweppes has been in the business. Schweppes, how many years have you been in the business now?
Year 6 right now.
Year 6. The coolest thing about Schweppe, he doubled his business last year. Okay. Schweppes last year is an individual agent, closed, you know, small team with an admin, part-time admin, 2x this business, did around $8 million in listing, or $8 million in closed volume, right? He had 30 closed units. And here's the coolest part about Schweppe's story. Schweppe, I didn't prep you for this, but this is where I really want you to go. Is Schweppe's not from Milwaukee. He didn't have a database from Milwaukee. He didn't know anybody in Milwaukee. And so he had to integrate himself into the community in order to build a big business. Schweppes, what did it look like and how did you find your closed units? Where did you find your people? How did you develop those relationships?
And I just love talking about this because it was such a mountain, and I was so scared when I started, like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I don't have any friends. I don't know what I'm doing. So like building it from nothing, I think gave me such a good handle on how to really look at each contact differently, right? Because the first year I spent most of my time just trying to add names, right? I remember on day one at boot camp, lead gen boot camp with Janine Werner, that she told me to come in with a list of 100 names. I had like 8. So I was like, what am I going to do to get to 100? So my thing every day wasn't necessarily looking for business. It was just looking for people that I could talk to on a regular basis. So that was just joining networking groups, using the events tab on Facebook to see what's going on around the city. There's always a grand opening or an art showcase, or somebody's doing a comedy show, whatever. But anytime you can get in a group of people and take home 3 to 5 business cards, there's your follow-up for the next day. So I just rinsed and repeated, started feeding my database, building my database, getting coffees, getting lunches, going to happy hours with people. And I think the biggest mistake, and I probably said all this, my top things to talk about, is that first year, I felt like I was always running around town just looking for somebody that was going to trust me to do a real estate with them that day. And I can't tell you how wrong that approach is. People can smell that on you. They can see it coming a mile away. And when you're talking to somebody that you just met and you're thinking about how you can guide that conversation into real estate, guess what you're not doing? Listening, right? You're not present in the moment. You're not paying attention to this person. What I've learned over the years here is that every new contact isn't just one transaction. It's the potential for 5 to 7 referrals per year. And if you can figure out a way to identify a contact, pour into them, build a relationship with them, and basically attract their referrals, then the phone starts to ring. Now, 6 years in, I'll admit my listing business is small in comparison to some of the agents even on this panel. William rocks it with his farm. I don't have a strong farm like that. Where I get my listings is from talking to my database all day long, texting people, Facebooking people, going to things, and then just repeat clients, right? My 100 contact list right now is straight up past clients. I love talking to them because they already like me. They already trust me. And if I keep going back to them and pouring into them, I get their referrals. And what I feel like the best way to run a successful business is focusing on being, attractive. You want to attract business, not go out and beg for it. If your phone is ringing, you're doing it right. And over the last couple of years, my phone's been ringing with listing referrals. In this market, listings are hard to come by. It's hard to get appointments, real hard to get appointments for listings that are strangers. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a referral from somebody. So focusing on that, building my referral network has been key in growing my business.
Well, and you heard very similar story as to how Chrissy built her business. She developed relationships, right? Invest in the relationships, realize that the conversations didn't need to be about real estate. They just need to view you as a trusted confidant with their largest financial asset on their balance sheet. And if they viewed you as the confidant, they would trust you with their asset. And then as you continue to develop those relationships and people view you as the guy or as the girl, as their trusted confidant, then your business grows and builds with it, right? And I've talked about this many, many times before. The only tangible asset you have in this business is your reputation.
Right.
And what does your relationship say about your reputation? And those that are developing and building scale within their business, it's a direct correlation as to what their reputation is with their network, right?
That's right.
So Chrissy, I want to tell, and Schweppes, thanks for sharing your story, because I think it's so powerful to share a story of someone who came literally from nothing, didn't know a soul in a relationship-based business, and just simply said, you know what? I related to politics a lot. You went out and stumped, and you went and stumped. You went stump for people's business, and you showed up where they were in order to develop those relationships. So real quick, just from where you were, you talked about 8 contacts with Janine. Where's your database sit today that you're feeding?
That's a great question. Let's just pull it up really quick. And so I think we all, have a pretty robust database when you look at all of the names you have in there, then you got to kind of get real and filter out, right? Half of them are realtors and lenders and title people. So you wipe them out. Maybe you can separate out a co-brokes category, which I think is a nice one to touch regularly, at least the ones you liked. But then the other ones, you've got past clients, you've got your nurtures, you've got open house leads. There's any number of ways you can break them all down. But from starting with 7 or 8 names, which like from the company that had just let me go from the job, I wasn't going to call them right away. Today, I'm pulling up my command here. Just the total amount of names that I have in my database is 1,005. Right? So
6 years.
In 6 years, that's a lot of names. It's almost too many to call in a week. So, using the DTD2 method, my full-time admin Ruth is fantastic, went through my whole database for me, tagged all my last names. So now when I need a call list, I just pull up that last name for A and Z and go through it. That's it. Very simple.
Guys, what you're hearing, whether it's Chrissy, whether it's William, whether it's Brian, the thing they're focused on is the top of their funnel. They're focused on the top of their funnel. How do they fill the top of their funnel? Because if they fill the top of their funnel, their income will grow through it, but based on the bottom of their funnel. All right, Chrissy,
Really,
come back. Yeah, go ahead.
One last thought. I really think though, when you're doing that, it's important to prioritize your calls and your contacts, right? So my past clients are always first. My open house leads are golden. Those are like right up there as top priority. That there's people in there that aren't necessarily hot leads. So you want to start with your best ones first. Use the lead function in your command. You filter out leads only, right? Like using your opportunities. I put people in my opportunities, even when I think they may never even list with me, because then I can go to my potential income page and say, oh, you know what? This is a good one. They've got $1 million listing up the road. They're 3 years out, but if you put them in the opportunity, then you're looking at them every single day. Command is great with its filters and its tags. If you use them right, you can prioritize your time better.
Cool. All right, Chrissy, I'm going back to you.
Okay.
As you think about this, is your time in this business, and you look at, with what's going on within the market of the moment, how are you looking at diversifying your business, or where are you doubling down within your business in order for it to continue to grow?
Database for sure, reaching out to that, door knocking. My team has actually been starting to do that a lot more now, and things are happening. And then social media and the mailings, to if we had a listing, if we sold something, just letting people know that we're out there and we're doing it and we're getting the calls.
And here's what I love about what you talked about: door knocking, mailers, social media, open houses, whatever it may be. Guess what? It's old school ball. Like it's the highest return on investment, right? Let's use an example of door knocking, right? And why does your team door knock? This is a loaded question.
Well, we actually hate it, and who likes to do it by? We just have fun with it. Like, I picked up Amanda the other day. She's folding the rest of the stuff because, like we did, our latest one was how to heal the market, and I created the flyer for them, a little first aid kit, and we went out and knocked on this door, and then our flyer and our card, and over half the neighborhood was actually home. Like, we were shocked that we talked to so many people. So, and we had a buyer specifically for that neighborhood. So we were trying to get the listing and get more. And some neighbors told us we're the ones to go talk to because they know they're ready. But that it's so much better when you do it with a group, because then if you feel awkward or uncomfortable, or you don't know what to say, someone else is there to kind of fill in for you.
Totally. And you know what else I love about door knocking? This is a relationship-based business. And when you door knock, what happens? You go belly to belly with your client, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a crazy reference, but you're investing your time. And what the other thing is that you heard that Chrissy talked about in going in groups and growing with a team of people, they were bringing something of value. They weren't just going to knock on the door to say hello. They were bringing something of value to educate the farm or geographical area in which they were playing, in order to bring value to those people to gather information about where it is that they want to go hunt or fish. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. And even if they didn't want to, they said they weren't selling, we made them take it anyways. And we said, well, if you know somebody that is thinking of selling, please give more information. And only one didn't take it, so it was good.
Love it. All right, Lauer, shifting over to you, right? Like, you built your business a lot on mailers, right? I am very well aware of the sophistication of your system around mailers, and targeting a very niche market. What is it that you're looking to do, or where are you thinking of adding value or diversifying your business, or where are you doubling down to say, listen, I don't need to reinvent the wheel because the wheel's already built. I'm just doubling down on those activities.
Yeah, definitely going to be doubling down on my, niche, because why not? That's probably going to be my highest ROI initially, but I'm also adding 4,500 addresses strategically that I purchased from like a data aggregator that says, hey, these addresses are the most likely to sell. They also sold me the emails and phone numbers for those addresses. I do have the do not call list, so I can call phone numbers, but that's not my main gig. Is going to be sending a mail and following up with some key touches. So that's in a market where the total number of deals are sinking a little bit here. You got to double down, triple down, quadruple down. Since we've built that business and have that free capital to do that, we're gonna do it. So.
And you know what the coolest thing, guys? Everybody's like, ooh, what's emailing? What's emailing? What's emailing? It's a simple letter. It's nothing special. It's nothing sexy. It gets people to think about him, right? It's a drip, it's a touch and within his geographical farm, and he's very focused on it. Here's the other thing, Lauer, 80% of your business comes from where? What geographical area?
Oh, the North Shore.
Yeah. Lauer, where do you live?
Wauwatosa.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So how did you infiltrate the North Shore, where 80% of your business is built in the North Shore in a very highly competitive market, right?
Well, I mean, I started by, I had lived in the North Shore and moved away after getting married and buying a house in Tosa. So I identified that I wanted to build my business in the North Shore, obviously for obvious reasons, we all know, right? So I just got involved in the community. I joined the Kiwanis Club and, ended up becoming the president, and I'm the president now 3 terms in a row there. So that, I think that was enough to legitimize my presence in the community. So.
No, I love it. The reason why I asked that, and I wanted to bring that forward, is to pop somebody's limiting belief to say, if they want to go sell homes in Lake Country, but they don't live in Lake Country or they're not part of Lake Country, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Same thing. Like, so many people are like, oh, I can't touch the North Shore. I wasn't born or raised in the North Shore. I don't live in the North Shore. William's a testament that you can build your business if you're very specific about where your farm is and how you infiltrate it.
I would say, if I could leave one last notion here, these are businesses. When you make money, invest that money in your business. That's how any business grows. Yes, we can be employees and we can produce as much as we can produce, but if you want to grow like a business grows and exponentially grow your income, you need to invest your money into your business.
Reinvest your dollars. And if you don't know what that means, go study the 30-30-40 budget model, MREA. I think it's page 117 if you need to know. But reinvestment, it's not an expense, it's an investment. All right, Schweppes, coming back to you. Where are you either looking to diversify your lead generation sources in terms of growing your database and building your database, or where are you doubling down as it relates to your activities as you look, staring down what's going on with the market at the moment?
There are a couple of things this year. It's been a weird year, right? With the difference in interest rates over a 6-month period, a lot of unknowns, fluctuating demand, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of extracurricular stuff in the world going on. There's been a lot of unknowns this year. And I really doubled back, I would say. Doubled down is a way to look at it, but I doubled back to open houses, because that was really where, over the last 5 years, I found the best leads come from, the warmest leads come from. I've not found a situation where you can just hang out in somebody's house and business walks in the door. And I like to think that I'm a likable guy, so I just try to be authentic, and it tends to work out pretty well for me with my system of follow-up. But where I'm doubling down, I would say Ruth and I have really been working on marketing our listings better. And I know I have a lot of room for improvement here. here, right? There are so many different things that you can do to make your listings have babies, as we say, and one of those things was making sure we're sending bookend postcards, right? The just listed to a small radius around your listing, and then the just sold, right? I'm making sure that I'm using Facebook events to promote my open houses. I use the boost function. As William says, you got to spend money, you got to invest. So if you want to increase your reach for $10 over a week period, you can boost your event, you can boost your posts, you can even key out your demographics a little better. And then using command to create like a landing page to link back to your website and capture information, which is really a nifty thing, because then boom, it goes right into your cell phone, right into your command tagged as a lead. So we're working on that, bulletproofing our marketing around our listings in order to generate one listing and one buyer every single time. We're not there yet, but we're getting better. All these types of things are great resources for me to get those new ideas. And as we continue to get better at that, I'm confident that we'll start to see more return. Those are really the two things this year, getting back to my open houses and then marketing my listings better all the way through.
Cool. All right. Chrissy, I'm flipping it back to you. Parting thoughts, things that are on your mind, maybe objections you're dealing with, just parting thoughts for the group in terms of where your focus is, your energy goes. Where is your energy going to finish out the remainder 6 months of 2022, and how are you going to finish it strong?
Okay, so I know one of the questions you sent us earlier was possibly, objections that sellers, like, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? We still get those questions. So I'm focusing more on asking them more questions and listening closely, like doing that. Well, they don't know where they want to go, or there's no place for them to find. I say, well, if you could pick anywhere to go, no matter what the price, like, where do you want to go? And a couple of them come back, they're like, well, I want I want to be on the beach with palm trees, but my, smaller property with no stairs. So I take it as, okay, you want like a condo and no stairs, or a ranch. And I forget about the beach and palm trees and take back to about the houses. And that's been working to get them to be more of talking about getting ready to list versus being the negative about it. So I'm focusing more on that and being more positive with them, and not let them change in the market dictate them to not want to list.
Totally. Here's what you heard, guys. Chrissy's focusing on asking the right question and using 2 ears, 1 mouth, listening in proportion to 2 ears, 1 mouth, right? And making sure that she's gathering the information, the right intel for her relationships, and then utilizing the information that she gets in order to infiltrate more of that database or to earn more of that business. Am I right, Chrissy?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other final parting thoughts?
Just don't give up. It's hard, but you got to keep doing it. It does pay off in the end.
Totally. All right, Lauer. I've talked, actually, I'm just going to go back real quick. I talked about this book a lot in team meeting the last couple of weeks. Simon Sinek's The Infinite Game. And he said, there are no winners in business. There are no losers in business. It's those that run out of the willpower and resources at continuing playing the game. And I think what Chrissy's message to you is don't run out the willpower. And if you continue to build a big business, you'll reinvest in what you've heard with William and Brian, is you reinvest your resources back into your business in order to gain scale. And if you have willpower and resources, you'll be totally fine. Again, there are no winners and losers in business, just those that run out of the willpower and resources at continuing playing the game. Lauer, final parting thoughts for the group.
So I'm putting together this marketing piece that has the interest rates over the course of a few decades here, and also the price per square foot. And when you look at it, I mean, as a seller, I mean, you should still be very excited, even if you took a 10% haircut on what that house would have sold for a year ago. Like, that's still historically a really good time to sell. So I guess that's my parting thought. I think we're on a little bit of a pause here, with buyers kind of wondering what should I do, and sellers at the same point. But if you look at that chart, you look at that graph, both interest rate wise and price wise, I mean, it's still a great time to sell and even historically buy. So I don't know, that's speaking to me right now. I think people need to hear that. Look at the numbers and actually evaluate the situation we're in.
And William's telling you he wants to be the economist of choice for his clients. And that's the way he keeps them engaged within the market of the moment to keep them motivated at staying within the game. Right, William? Love it. All right, Schweppes, final parting thoughts. What are you doing to hypercharge your business the last 6 months? What are you doing differently, or what's on your mind?
Yeah, what's on my mind right now is just what's going on with values. You know, I've got 3 listings in the last week. It's been a great week for me. Really happy about it. I got the spread covered, right? I had a listing for 165, a listing for 375, and a listing at 999. The lower listing ones, I knew I priced right on the dot or just under, and the results were predictable, right? I got a bunch of offers first weekend over asking. The other one, the luxury one, it's a little bit of a different animal, right? Less buyers in that buyer pool. Thought I priced that one right too, but we're still looking for offers. So if anybody wants a lakefront property in Mequon, give me a buzz. But I think pricing it right has never been more important. I think it's so sensitive right now. Buyers are too smart. All the information is out there. You can go on public record. You can see what things are assessed for, what things are selling for. There's RPR. There's all these resources out there for buyers. And if a buyer walks into a property, and if you're off even by 3, 4, 5 grand sometimes, it will discourage them from writing. So just when you're taking listings, realize that things are moving really quick right now. And if you want to get those results for your sellers that they expect, those sellers a lot of times are still living in that market from a year ago. They don't see what we see. They don't get the metrics from Charlie and Mandy every Tuesday like we do. So as far as they're concerned, there's no reason why they shouldn't get 30 offers at any price they want. And I'm telling you, it's not true. You've got to price things right. Otherwise it will sit there. And I hope that's not the case with my luxury listing. I hope that it's just the fact that it's a lower buyer pool and kind of getting into the dog days of summer here. But I can tell you that I'm acutely aware of it and trying to pay attention to what's going on with values in that price point. So yeah, price it right. And I guess the last thing I would say is that listing that I have, is an important one because that was an open house client. Laura Brewster, you're on the call. It was an open house lead that I met helping Laura Brewster in Lac de Coeur 6 months into my career. And I've done 4 listings and 2 buyer deals with that one client. So your past clients are your core advocates. Pour into them because they can become repeat business over and over and over. They will refer you over and over and over. Work smarter, not harder in this market because the doubling down on prospecting and the phone calls, all that's really great, but it leads to burnout. So you got to find ways to leverage your database, leverage your lead gen efforts so that you're getting the most out of it as possible with your time.
And if I can just say one thing, Schweppes showed up that day ready. Like he was like talking to people like they were just friends, just chit-chatting, not shoving info down their throat or whatever. He was kind of a natural, and look what happened.
And the open house was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 5 years ago.
And I
Literally
had
done
a
a
week
deal
to go to
a deal a
Tasha's
year.
dad's funeral, and he stayed and picked up like 3 clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mazel. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Chrissy, Lauer, Schweppes, guys, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for pouring into our group. Thanks for making it action-packed. If you guys need anything, I know these guys are absolutely willing and gracious people. They're willing to give of their time, energy, and efforts. Guys, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you. And be sure to check this out on the YouTube page as well. We'll post it here this afternoon. Thanks, guys.
Call us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.